Last minute shakeup at 5:30 a.m., laundry situation not good. And when your focus is on helping your clients, it's easy to forget about yourself. But NASM knows trainers.
Morning ride is okay.
And staying in front of the day isn't always as simple as 1, 2, 3. So when the unexpected has you pressing pause,
what's the latest on creatine?
I'm going to get back to you on that.
let NASM1 help you press play. Visit NASM.org to sign up for a membership today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strong Mind, Strong Body. I'm your host, Angie Miller, and today we are going to talk about redefining personal training and the rise of what we're going to call a high-value trainer. The thing is, you don't have to be a trainer to listen to this episode. As a matter of fact, it's just as much geared to those of you out there who are involved in any type of movement or exercise and who have hired or are thinking about hiring a trainer, because all of us at certain times in our lives just want that extra push. And so where is the industry going when it comes to personal training? The question is it dying or is it evolving? Because we know that there's so much more that's offered online. There's personal training online, there's workouts online. People are getting an abundance of information off of the internet. And so the question is, well, then where does that leave personal trainers? And I think what it leads to is that we need to create more meaningful, impactful experiences for our clients. And I think that as a client, that's what you deserve in your experience. And I think that that means that we need trainers with high levels of emotional intelligence. So my guest today is Jesse Benson. And Jesse is the owner of National Personal Training Academy. And he has been awarded Canada's top trainer. Jesse is a great person to have on the show because he is all into a high value trainer. So Jesse, I'm going to bring you in and have you introduce yourself. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you, Angie, once again for having me on your show. I am a proud owner of 2 facilities here in Canada called Fit Integrated Wellness, and I'm also the owner of National Personal Training Academy here in Canada. So I've also won a few awards. One is Canada's Top Fitness Trainer 2024. The other was a Business Resiliency Award in 2022 as Canada's most resilient gym. So I'm all about supporting trainers and, like this show says, finding and developing high value trainers.
All right. Amazing. I think that you're the perfect person to talk to. So, Jesse, with the rise of digital fitness and all these like AI trainers and programming and personal training, do you think personal training is actually dying? Or do you think that it's an unprecedented opportunity for trainers? What's really happening in the industry from your perspective?
I think that personal training, if not revived, will die. So personal training as we know it is dying. And that's because we got to go deeper. As trainers, as coaches, we need to connect with our clients. We need to get back to the roots and the true essence of personal training, which is a trainer and a client in it together. So that's how I see it right now. We've got to go deeper. We've got to be connecting with our clients, and we've got to be adapting to this ever-changing landscape if we want to not only survive in this industry, but obviously thrive.
I agree. And you know what, Jesse, I'm sorry to all of you out there who heard me say stop to my dog as you were in the middle of talking. I thought I had muted myself. So there we go. We all have tech issues, and I'm going to own and claim mine as my own. I wasn't telling Jesse to stop. Okay. So Jesse, well said. In spite of my interruptions, I really do appreciate you navigating that. So, you know, you work in Canada, you train trainers, you help with professional development. I think that you're a big one on emotional intelligence. And, you know, that said, what do you think is that crucial difference between, I don't know, I'll just say the old school trainer, the traditional trainer, right? The trainers of yesterday versus the high value trainer. What kind of transformation are you looking for?
Well, it's actually quite simple. Nobody needs a traditional trainer. And that's the big differentiator here is whether or not people truly need and depend on that trainer. And ultimately, that is what defines a high value trainer, right? And so I can give you an example. Yesterday was a holiday, and looking over our facility here yesterday, you know, the trainers who were here who were busy were trainers who were clearly needed in their clients' lives. And that's where we take a service like personal training and we turn it from a want into a need, or better yet, a must have service or thing in their life. And so that's really the question that a lot of trainers, both established or aspiring, truly need to ask themselves is, are they indispensable to their clients? Are they something that their clients truly rely upon, both emotionally, for their emotional needs, physical needs, and their health needs? So we need to reframe our thought process around where is the value lie in that client trainer relationship.
Yeah. Well, and I agree because I think that it's holding space for somebody. And I think that's really what you're saying. Because I think, Jesse, you and I have talked about how we have to be careful with that whole emotional needs kind of thing. Like we're not acting as therapists, but we are providing a safe space for clients to come in and say, hey, it's not just about physical application, it's also about what's going on in my emotional state and my mental state. And so I think it's really in a nutshell. If I was to distill it down, I would tell trainers just hold a safe space. If it feels like it's making you uncomfortable as a trainer because you feel like it's too much or it's too deep, then it probably is. And so listen to your intuition. I don't think it's a bad thing to tell a client that sounds really heavy. That sounds like you're going through a lot. I feel like you deserve to talk to someone about that. Not in a way like, oh, there's something wrong with you, but in a way that says, I think that it would be a good idea for you to talk this out with somebody so that you have me to lean on, but you also have a support system. But I agree. I think that so much of what providing value is far beyond physical application. It's about just holding space for human beings and forget about the workout to a certain degree, right? Because sometimes a client comes in and they've got a whole heck of a lot on their mind and they've got a lot they need to share. And maybe you don't get done what you thought you would get done that day. And is that okay? Do you think that's okay?
Yeah, I'm glad that we're going there, because we've also got to be careful of a line, and that's where trainers could also feel compelled to do it all, or feel the need that they can take on every single aspect of their client's needs. And that's where I'd recommend, that they always refer to the number one rule in personal training, which is, when in doubt, refer out. And so if a client's emotional needs exceed the trainer's capabilities, that's where they could refer to a professional like yourself, who is far more equipped to be able to handle some of those deep rooted situations. Now, with that said, is the importance of being heard important? Absolutely. It's important for them to be heard. Is it important that the client feel emotionally supported and understood? Absolutely it is. I think that it's important for trainers and clients to establish that for the real work to actually begin, because up until that point, no real meaningful work can actually begin outside of some sit-ups and push-ups, right? But at the same time, that can't be the only emphasis or goal. There is an objective, which is to get physically fit and healthy. And so we need to hold space, listen, refer out if needed, and then, actively work and progress with that client to hit some milestones or goals, something that can be celebrated hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, I think that was well said. And here's the thing that I would say to every trainer out there. Yes, two things can be true. Yes, there's a lot of workouts online. Yes, there's a lot of trainers online. Yes, there's AI that'll develop workouts for you. Yes, all those things are true. And guess what? People are still hiring trainers because they want that personal connection. They want humans. They want humans providing a safe space. They want humans guiding and directing their workouts. And they want humans who will talk to them and make them feel seen and heard. And that's something that, I'm sorry, you're never going to get that from AI. You're never going to get that online. And so I think that we still have a place, but I do think, to your point, Jesse, emotional intelligence is huge because they want someone with a personality, somebody who sees them not just as another client, but sees them as a human with their own individual needs. So, all that said, because, that was kind of a big lump of stuff, but what do you think is the number one way that clients, or I'm sorry, trainers build trust with clients? Like,
They have to be adaptable first and foremost, and then they've also got to be able to connect on a deep or meaningful level. Um, what we often say with trainers is that until you've made a meaningful connection, we really can't deliver on any of our core values at the end of the day. And typically it happens when stuff hits the fan, when real life happens for clients. It could be a family situation, it could be an emergency, it could even be financial, but it's when we're there to pick those clients up, pull them into the boat, when they're drowning, being able to support them and letting them know ultimately that we're there. And a lot of it is based on caring, but of course, caring is all about the measure of the word. So it's how much do we care, right? If we care enough to send a text message, do we care enough to send them a card? Do we care enough to um, perhaps, it's how far are we willing to go for the client? And so you can call that going above and beyond, or you can call that just a matter of caring or truly caring deeply.
yeah. Well, I agree. I think that, if you're going to, if you're going to build trust with people, you do have to make a connection. On some level, you have to make a connection.
Mhm.
And I always say that, to me, the one word that comes to my mind when somebody says, well, when it comes to trust, well, I guess two things come to my mind. Number one is listening. Listening always builds trust. If you can just hear somebody without judgment, without interruption, just hear them. Just lay a foundation of, I am here. I'm going to close my mouth. I'm going to use my two ears. I'm going to hold space for you. Right there, you build people's trust. And then when they're finished, validating. I hear what you're saying. It feels like that's got to be really difficult. Whatever it is that you can say that will validate their experience. I'm not saying you have to agree with them. You know what? You don't have to agree with somebody to validate somebody. You can just validate that that's their experience. Those are their feelings. So I think that trainers need to develop trust. To your point, they have to make a connection for the whole experience to be meaningful. And I think that in order to do that, listening is a key component. And then being able to kind of validate someone.
It's a
So,
matter of using all of our gifts, right? So
right.
using our ears, using our mouth, using our eyes, perhaps even our using our bodies, like actual physical contact with clients, hugging them, that type of thing. It's, I call it being a real boy in a sense that, you know, using all of our God-given gifts in order to ultimately connect or heal um, clients.
Yeah, 100%. Just showing up as authentically you so that
Mhm,
they can show up as authentically them. You
mhm.
know, when it comes to um mistakes, because I think that trainers out there right now trying to adapt to this climate, we're all making mistakes. We're all out there kind of fumbling around because the climate has changed so much, the landscape has changed, and there's so much available digitally that we're all like, how do I stay relevant? What are some mistakes that you see trainers make in trying to stay relevant and trying to hold their clients?
They're not adapting. Technology is advancing very quickly, and we've got to be able to keep up. And a really great way of us being able to do that is to simply be able to take all of these different inputs that clients have technology wise and combine them together holistically in a way that makes sense to the client. So clients right now, they've got an app for this, a podcast for that. They have perhaps a smoothie recipe, or they've got um, an Instagram video or workout that they're following, and they've kind of assembled all this along with their fitness regimen to essentially develop a program. And where where trainers or high value trainers in this case can come in is being able to assess all of these different client inputs and assemble them in a way that actually works for the client. And I think that's incredibly valuable if you're able to take devices like Fitbits into account. You're able to take different recipes and other inputs into account. Then you can develop a much more comprehensive program for your client that delivers results or gets them to A to B or beyond.
You know what came to my mind, Jesse? I love everything you just said because what really came to my mind is yes, it is about adapting 100%. And what I really heard you say is kind of what I was saying earlier is validate, don't feel threatened. Like
Mhm.
clients are going to come in with a ton of stuff and we might be like, oh, that's crap. I mean, literally, we might be like, seriously. But it's kind of about validating. Okay, they're saying that they are getting benefit by trusting this app or this device or this article, and then validating that experience and not feeling threatened by it because there's a lot of information out there. But to your point, how do you then encapsulate that and keep that as part of your program in the way that you connect with them? I was telling my seniors, I wrote a program on ageism in fitness, and I am producing it for NASM's Club Connect. And I was telling my seniors about aging and what the research says, and how the research essentially, in a nutshell, says that we're going to age more quickly if we buy into stereotypes surrounding aging. But that if we don't believe that, and if we don't know our age and we just live our best life and do crazy things and continuing to take ourselves out of our comfort zone, we're going to have a healthier life. So this morning, one of my seniors shows up for me to train and he hands me an article and he's like, look, this is exactly what you were talking about. And so it was kind of like I'm validating them, they're validating, it's bringing it into the experience and saying, I heard you, and now I'm bringing you this information and saying everything you said made sense to me. And so let them get more information out there and then just validate it. Or if you find that the information they're getting doesn't resonate with your expertise, you could provide them some other evidence to support the way that you believe this might be best for them without telling them that they don't know what's best for them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it makes sense. And good on them for trying. Good on them for seeking that information. Good on them. They're on their health quest just like all the rest of us. And again, the value comes in being able to assemble everything in a way that will work, or just guiding them on that path, because people are going to be seeking out technology now more than ever. And so we need to know how this stuff works and how to best adapt it to for the client's needs.
Yeah, 100%. Jesse, I'm going to reintroduce us. So, my name is Angie Miller. This is Strong Mind, Strong Body. And I'm talking to Jesse Benson. He is the owner of National Personal Training Academy in Canada. And he has also been awarded the top trainer in Canada. So, he's a pretty cool guy. And I'm also proud to call him a friend. So we are talking about redefining personal training, the rise of the high value trainer, and what that looks like. And no, you don't have to tune out and be like, oh no, I'm not a trainer. It's for those of you who are seeking personal training or seeking guidance on your health journey. So Jesse, and for those who are actually training, Jesse, I have a question for you. If you were starting as a personal trainer today and you had no experience whatsoever, this your first day, you're just starting as a trainer, what would be your first 3 steps you would take to position yourself as a high value trainer?
So I've got 3 T's for us here, Angie. And 1 T is going to be for team up. I feel like we are all stronger when we're teamed up with other professionals. And the traditional go it alone approach that most independent personal trainers have is not going to serve them in this new landscape. We've got to team up. And there is strength in numbers, but also there's strength in being able to leverage each other's knowledge, each other's networks, each other's skill sets. And so what do I mean by team up? Well, I mean team up with other health and fitness practitioners, team up with physios, RMTs, again, professionals like yourself who can help clients with that mental, emotional aspect of their fitness journeys. The next T we're going to cover stands for testimonials. Yes, a good reel will get a ton of likes and visibility, but nothing tops a solid testimonial. That speaks volumes about not only your service, but also about you as a coach or trainer. Nothing can top a testimonial. Last T that I've got for us is tools. As trainers or high value trainers, we've got to have tools at our disposal for our clients. So whether that's programming, food and activity journals and trackers, the more that we can empower our clients with tools, the better off, the more empowered that you're going to be as a coach, but also your client. So those are the tips that I've got for how to best position yourself as a trainer today.
Okay. So team up in the spirit of like collaborating, like team up, work with other people, collaborate with others, collaborate with experts. I love that one. And then testimonials, which is always a work in progress for me. I feel like it is for all of us. I feel like I've been through times in my career where I'm really good at asking for testimonials and then not so much. But you're right. I don't buy anything without looking at reviews. So it's funny that some of us don't place as much value on it. And yet when we go to purchase something, we're like, oh, what do the reviews say? And then last but not least, the tools. And so what I hear you say, Jesse, is don't be threatened by all the information out there. Embrace it. Bring it into the space with you and the client. Take what they know, validate what they know, and then help fill in what they don't know. And that's where your expertise comes in. That's where you as a human come in, right?
Exactly.
I like that. All right. So, for those listeners right now, or those trainers who are listening right now, okay, who know they need to evolve, like they know they need to, for some reason, maybe their client load's not what it used to be, or I don't know. For some reason, though, they're getting this sense that they need to evolve. Maybe they're getting burnout. Who knows? But they feel a little overwhelmed. Like, where do I even begin? What's the powerful shift you think they could make this week?
Yeah. I've got a very simple one here, and that would be just to raise the intensity of the workout. And I know at first, on hearing that, it sounds overly simplistic, but like we're focusing on just changing one thing here, not a million. If we're in overwhelm, we don't know where to start. We've got a million things that we've got to do and keep up with as trainers or coaches or small businesses. What's the one most impactful thing we can do? That is increase the intensity of the workout. And why is that? Well, if we always, things are going to come to the surface naturally, bringing client, like if there's any reason as to why we can't raise the intensity, it's going to shift our focus into those areas, ensuring that we can overcome those obstacles. Intensity could also be used to address certain things like perhaps the client's not sleeping properly. They are going to get that hit, that endorphin rush afterwards, that feel good, which will make them want to come back for more. In addition to that, it's going to challenge the coach in order to do that, because at the end of the day, nobody likes an easy trainer, and an easy trainer and always erring on the side of the client, if the client's not feeling up to that workout that day, it's just going to be a means to an end. And so what I often tell trainers, if there's just one thing that we can focus on today with our clients, start slowly and safely raising that intensity level, knowing full well that everything will have to fall into place.
Okay, that's interesting. I did not expect that answer. You threw me off on that one. I hear you. I hear you, and I validate that, and I agree. I think that it takes the client out of the comfort zone. It takes the trainer a little bit out of the comfort zone. It pushes the envelope a little bit on both ends. I think I would also add to that and say that if a trainer is feeling stuck, or they're feeling burnout, or whatever they're feeling, or they're just feeling like they're losing clients, I think the other thing I would add to that is just put more tools in your toolbox, get more education and expertise so that you can expand your training repertoire. So whether that is you're going to take an online course on emotional intelligence, or you're going to become a wellness coach, or just like put yourself out there in a whole different realm so that you as a trainer see yourself differently. And therefore, guess what? If you see yourself differently, the world sees you differently because you're adapting, which is your word, right? Adapting to stimuli because that's what you're asking your clients to do.
And I would also encourage them to seek out experiences. And so it's not enough sometimes to just be aware of certain things, that we've got to immerse ourselves in experiences that are going to help us grow or help us develop that emotional intelligence. And so one of the things that we expose our trainers to is our By Donation community class, where they get to meet people that are underprivileged in our local community, and they get to like hands-on help them and raise donations for charity. And then those charities will actually come into the gym, so they get to pack the lunches, they get to pack the clothes and what have you for homeless people, or we send them right into the community where they would help at certain places, like Luke 15 house is another one where we send male trainers, and then they get to help recovering addicts, help recovering men. To truly gain an understanding of what the emotional needs are. They become more grateful for the things that they have, and they gain a true understanding of empathy, compassion. Putting ourselves out there and gaining these experiences, I believe, is the best way to develop a lot of the things that our clients need from us. So, how do you get involved in that? Well, I think there's any number of ways. I think maybe seeking out charities would be a really good place to start. But the moment you embark on that path, it won't take very long to find people in need.
Yeah, I think that that's a key one because I think anywhere we can go to build empathy, because empathy it's like something that is, it attaches us to other people and experiences. So anything that you can do as a trainer to build empathy, maybe to your point, just that level of burnout is just putting yourself out there and seeing the lives of other people and the hardships of other people so that you can then lean into your own empathic experience with your clients. So, Jesse, if people want to get a hold of you, if listeners want to reach you, how would they reach you?
My website, it's jessebenson.ca.
Okay. Well, that was brief. Well, Jesse, you know what? You are a light for trainers. I really appreciate your knowledge and expertise. I appreciate all of you listening, all of you tuning into Strong Mind, Strong Body, whether you're a trainer who is looking to level up or whether you're a consumer or a client who's looking for a trainer. I think it's important to find that person who can hold a safe space for you, be an empathic listener, and who can level up for you and have a high level of emotional intelligence. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.